Most important thing about being in the apprenticeship is that to take what they're teaching you in the class and know that you're going to use it in the field.
They need to have a good work ethic, good hand skills, and be motivated. Have a drive to be successful.
Every little piece that we've gone through as far as experience is concerned adds up, and then our imagination kicks up and we are able to do the job. So that's what we give them, the basics, and they run with that.
There's a respect level amongst the workers. They care for each other, they look out for each other. They work as a team.
So if you got work in the field, you're gonna work in the field. If they work in the shop, you're gonna go in the shop. You're not gonna say no.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. So what I appreciate about the apprentices we currently have is their willingness and their motivation to learn what we have to teach them.
I have that excitement, the yearning for knowledge, wanting to learn more. You're applying the next day at work what you're learning the day before.
Yeah, this particular training center, it's the only training center that you have a virtual job site on.
The main message is that they should be the best at what they do, that they should never stop learning, that they should always try to perfect their craft.
Move with a sense of urgency. No foreman wants a guy that drags his feet. Every foreman wants a guy with a sense of urgency.
It's one thing to have a job and another thing to be able to love what you do.
This is not like a basic trade where they teach you something and you do repetitive actions over and over. Not in the least bit. This trade here is basically you're the creator.
It's not just working with your hands, you have to work with your head.
The pride aspect is it's hard to describe because it's to be able to tell someone that you work for a union, you're getting an education, you're learning things that that not everyone has.
I like to take pride in my work because at the end of the day, you get to see something that you've created all on your own.
This, he says, make whatever you need. He says, feel free to make all the copies you want.
This apprenticeship program is designed under a 5-year apprenticeship where it's a work and study program to where apprentices or applicants to the apprenticeship program will come and make application to the apprenticeship. They will be tested. They will have an interview with a subcommittee, be scored and ranked, and as we need new apprentices coming into the program, we'll bring those individuals in.
The qualifications to apply are a willingness to work and learn. No high school degree is required. You need to have the aptitude, hand skills, good motor skills, and good problem-solving skills.
The basic requirements are filling out the application, taking a written exam when we schedule it, and an oral interview. Minimum requirements are they must be fit to do the job.
The craftsmanship of a sheet metal worker is very high and very skilled, and you have to have the willingness, the ability, and the aptitude to want to learn and succeed in our industry.
First, we start out with the basics of the trade. Some trade history, some familiarity with the equipment, with the work environment, with work mathematics. Mathematics is a large part of what we do as sheet metal workers. And so for the first 2 years, this is what we call our core program.
That apprentice is someone that just is like a sponge, going to be learning about the trade. They're going to be paired up with the journeyman. This journeyman, whatever job site they're on, whatever company they're working for, they're going to be paired up and they're going to be mentored by that individual. Well, a journeyman is somebody that has completed our program after 5 years.
Our students come 8 hours a day, every 2 weeks approximately. 1 day out of every 2 weeks, our students come for an 8-hour class session. And in between those class sessions, they are typically assigned homework assignments that they are expected to complete.
Well, craftsmanship and quality are very important to our contractors. Our JATC provides that training and the skills necessary to actually train apprentices to be successful journeymen. So we can compete and we can be competitive and provide a quality product to all of our customers here in Southern California.
Anybody can come into this trade. Any and all walks of life can come into this trade, whether poor, whether well off, you're Asian, Hispanic, white, black, you know, it's an open door policy.
I have over 30 people on staff that instruct every area of our craft. So you will be in the HVAC, the heating and air conditioning side of it, or the architectural side. You could be in the service side. You could be in the welding. You could be in the air balance. You could be in the automated CAD detailing program. There is so much that we offer and so many different areas made up of sheet metal workers.
I was in the Army National Guard. I deployed once to Afghanistan back in 2013, 2014. I had just got out of active duty and I was looking to find a job, and I came to a 2-week boot camp here, and they showed us kind of a glimpse of what the trade was about, and I was interested, so I ended up taking the test and I got in.
I was doing quality control for a company in Corona, California. It was a decent paying job, but it wasn't enough for me, you know, to be able to provide for my family. We were making ends meet, and with this here, it's a 5-year apprenticeship program. At the end of the day, you know, maybe making top dollar, and I'll be able to provide for my family, and they'll have a future that I never had.
Out of high school, pretty much, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I went to college for like a year or so, and it really wasn't for me. I have a wife and 1 son, but I want to leave something for my son behind too, you know, with my retirement plan and with our pension too for myself when I'm done.
I started in this trade 31 years ago in the apprenticeship myself. If you work hard and you like what you do and you enjoy what you do and you have a dream, you can make your dreams come true.
Looking around this room, this is one of the shop fabrication labs. Here is where an apprentice will learn the basic hand skills of taking a flat piece of steel and fabricating it. And by using the tools and using the plasma as an example, or in any of the shears and the rolls, and we have state-of-the-art equipment that can actually help you succeed in making the products that you're doing.
As a first year, you'd make this simple little stub of duct project. And they teach you how to use the brakes, cutting, layout, notching, forming, etc., to come up with a simple basic layout project. Then we get to this fitting, which is known as a drop cheek elbow. Hence you see the cheek is dropping, and this is a transitional fitting as well. All the metal is uniform, the seams lay flat, the spot welds are done well. You don't see any blemishes. You don't see any flaws, any defects. This is a finely done piece. A press brake can do a variety of different things. It can bend hard angles like we'd seen in the previous piece, and you can also bump it around to make radiuses. In the kitchen industry, for example, any of the commercial kitchen sinks you see all have radius corners everywhere.
Our 3rd year, we cover welding. All students are introduced to welding, as well as reading plans and specifications.
The main thing is actually being able to see out of a hood, a welding hood, just to get the ability to distinguish the puddle and the molten metal, the slag, so to speak, the stuff that doesn't count. It's very difficult. It doesn't come automatically.
How I know that I'm looking at a good weld is the beads, whether it's stacked or not. It's a good flow.
The actual circles themselves that were cut are concentric. The actual pattern of the welds, the size of the welds, the cleanness of the actual material. It makes you want to touch it. It makes you want to actually look at it. God, this is nice, you know.
What's important in being a good welder, first of all, that whatever you're welding doesn't fail. If you don't take your welding or your craft seriously, you can seriously hurt somebody. So not only are you going to hurt somebody, it's a big liability for the company you're working for.
There's different options for me, you know, as far as architectural, or I can go welding side, or I can just go to HVAC or tab, which is testing and air balancing.
4th and 5th year students get to choose elective courses where they can choose specialized parts of our industry to focus their education on, being industrial, architectural, HVAC, service, and TAB.
TAB stands for Testing, Adjusting, and Balancing Bureau. We call it TAB for short. I'm talking about an air handling system in conjunction with a chiller system and a boiler system that makes cold and hot water, and that circulates through the air handler. We're actually going out to the equipment, making sure it's started properly, making sure it's running within its parameters, so we're cooling and heating and ventilating a building efficiently. If a system is operating properly and conditioning the space and ventilating the spaces properly, it's going to save the building owner lots of money. Boils right down to money. We have air handling systems, chiller systems. The one that's right behind me is a variable airflow system like you would find in a commercial occupied building. Here we have several water pumps down below here that we would actually adjust and calibrate for flow that's required by the engineer to make our temperature exchange happen. But we do take care of the pumps, calibrate them, and get them running efficiently. The detail that has to go into this type of work is a lot of meticulous math. You have to be able to understand what's happening with the duct system or a heat exchanger or a condenser or any component in an air conditioning system so that it can be calibrated properly. We can assure contractors and building owners that when they're using our members that have been trained in testing, adjusting, and balancing at our facility, they are getting a top-notch, well-trained employee.
But if you see this, that means you've grabbed all the levels of your architect's background.
CAD is computer-aided drafting. We use it in sheet metal to create blueprints of what's being built out in the field. We'll take the ductwork that's shown on engineering prints, we'll take that model and we'll build it in our shops, take that ductwork and place it into the building. A lot of people think of sheet metal as just using your tools out in the field, but there's actually a lot more opportunities in sheet metal, and CAD is another one of them.
I'm actually working on making field measurements and translating what I detail from the field into a 3D rendition of a AutoCAD file.
Coming out of the 5 years of the apprenticeship program, we were able to graduate without any debt. It's a program funded by the International Training Institute that gives us the opportunity with the collective bargaining that our union provides for us to be able to graduate without having to pay a cent out of pocket.
The debt aspect of it is probably one of the biggest reasons that I came here. Like I said, I was going to college, and even though I didn't have debt, the cost of the college was out of my pocket, out of my own expense, so I really felt it. There's no debt, and the equipment that we use, the schooling that we have here is second to none.
If you're on the street and you went to school 5 years, you'd be an engineer, you'd be a doctor or something. So we're basically doctors of metal. We have just as much pride in our trade and our profession as doctors and lawyers have in theirs.
The amount of money that it costs to go into a training center such as this, it is funded through our own collective bargaining agreement package. So money out of pocket to become an apprentice, none.
I'm doing the welding right now, the detailing, the blueprint reading. Next class I have, that starts this week, as well as the HVAC, the fire life safety. So it kind of shows you pretty much from beginning to end what you could do, what you can learn from everything you're building. You fabricate it, you install it, so it shows you everything.
The beauty in this trade is pretty much everything. You get to build things out of metal, design. If you go architectural side, you can build pretty much whatever your mind creates, you can make it out of metal. So, I mean, it's fascinating.
Yeah, parts of this do feel artistic, especially on the architectural side. That's where I work. And it's really nice to, when you go in, you design something, make it, finish it all, and then you walk away and you actually get a look at the finished product. If we go into custom homes, build like kitchen hoods, all custom stuff. Anything from countertops to rain gutters for custom homes.
This is a training piece for the architectural class. So you have a miniature building, if you will, where you can put a variety of different roof systems, wall systems, and roof drainage, as you see with the gutters. So everyone that goes by and sees it gets a chance to evaluate the craftsmanship that's involved with this piece. So yes, your skill set in the fabrication as well as the installation need to be on the top of their game.
I find beauty in these walls, the architecture of these buildings. Not only do you see the outward appearance
of the different types of metals and different kind of finishes that we can put on the metals, but it's the fact that we put our hands and our hard work into these things. To me, this is beautiful. Really, this is beautiful.
I had the opportunity to make the Surgeon's Cross at White Memorial Hospital in East Los Angeles, the hospital that I was born in. I have 3 daughters and a wife. I took them one morning after the cross was installed. I pointed out to my daughters and my wife, that was the hospital I was born in, and I showed them the cross that I had just recently worked in, and I basically told them how honored and humbled I felt, for being able to be a part of that.
Being on time, showing up regularly, being prepared to work, also wanting to work hard, working towards a common goal with our contractors.
Management needs skilled labor. Skilled labor needs contractors who are willing to go out, invest time, resources, and energy to actually bid and get awarded these very essential projects here in Southern California.
The employers are due something back, okay, from these individuals here, because it's a cooperative effort between the contractors and labor. As I always tell my students, it's your duty to make them a profit so that you can actually live from their profits. It's a give and take situation here. It's not just a one-way street.
It's very important that the contractors are successful. If the contractors are successful, they're able to bid and land more projects, which keep our members working, which keep our apprentices working.
What we look for in a good employee is an individual who is going to be at work every day with a good attitude, who wants to learn, be a part of a company, be a part of an industry, and have a future.
They're looking for someone that has basic common sense. When you're on a construction site, you need to be aware of your surroundings. Safety is a main thing.
Well, our employer expects professionalism. He expects us to do an 8-hour day for 8 hours worth of pay, and he expects us to work in an expedient and safe manner. They expect you to show that union professionalism as well.
Probably what I'm most proud with our JATC program is the ability to take somebody that may not have any experience in a trade and see that progress over the next 5 years in our apprenticeship program.
I learned about myself is I am a hard worker. I hustle every day. I'm not your young apprentice. I'm an older apprentice, but I'm hustling out there, and I can compete with all the younger guys, and I'm very proudful of that in myself, because I didn't think I had that in me, but it took this to bring it out of me.
You can't be a slacker out here. You can't be like ignorant or not try to learn anything. If you want to just go out there and try to make the money, it doesn't work that way. You got to work hard, learn as much as you can, and take it all in, and then put it all out in the field,
When you become an apprentice, you're going to start at approximately $17 to $18 an hour. That's on the paycheck. When you add in the benefits that are paid on your behalf per hour worked, that normally will take that $17 an hour or $18 up to about a $30 package, which constitutes health care benefits, 2 pensions, a 401.
I would like to say to a young man, or a young woman for that matter, there are just a vast opportunities for them to be successful in life, for them to provide a good living for their family.
What I would tell a young girl about this trade is that, just push yourself and don't let anything set you back or intimidate you. You can do anything your mind sets you to and your body pushes you to.
I would advise someone coming out of high school to look into a career like this. It's, steady work, pays really well, you end up debt-free, and you get schooling out of it. I do believe this is one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
For anybody young in the trade or anybody trying to look into it, it's probably the best decision they could ever make.
Quality is everything. Quality, that's all we have to really sell as technicians and craftsmen. What we sell effectively is excellence in our trade.
You go down the city and you can see stuff that you've done. You tell your family gets tired of it. You have a sense of accomplishment.
A year back, I worked on a building in Hollywood, and we took my daughter out for her birthday, and I took them down by the street of that building that we worked on, and I pointed to them, look, that's the building that I was in for almost a year, and I helped build it.
Back in the days, they had storytelling to tell the different history that went on. So Sheet metal is a way of telling a story, but you're telling it with your hands and with the objects you create. It's the best enjoyment ever. To seeing that you've made something, you're a creator.
Currently we're working on a Sir Winston's renovation of the restaurant. We're also working on Princess Diana Museum to provide quality and clean air to all of the guests and the clients here in the Queen Mary.
I tell my children that not only do I work, I actually still go to school, and if you want to advance your career, you continue to go to school and you continue to learn.
Every year we have a graduation ceremony for the class that's graduating. And for us as instructors to go to that ceremony and see this next group of students graduate is so satisfying to us. We're so proud of them for their accomplishment that now they can go out and provide well for their own families and for their own future and hopefully pass it on themselves to the next generation.
I'm so proud of the program we've built here in Southern California and proud of the apprentices that we're training.
Where would we be if we didn't pass on our knowledge? What better job than to give somebody else the opportunity to learn?